Hello, family. Welcome back to the African Diaspora News Channel. I am Wongel Zelalem, and today we're talking about the Guinea-Bissau coup d'etat that recently just happened last week, and we covered it when it first happened. But it turns out there's more to the story, and we were onto something. When the coup happened, there was a lot of speculation that it was not a real coup, an authentic coup as we know it, right? And the reason behind the speculation is because the coup leader and the president, the sitting president now that was overthrown, were actually friends. They were close to each other, and the first person that told us that there was a coup d'etat was the actual overthrown president. So people were putting one and two together and figuring out that this might not be a coup of like an authentic coup. But anyways, if you have followed that story, you will be glad to find out that the ex-president of Nigeria, Goodluck Jonathan, actually said this. I'm going to show you a video shortly about that election process as well as the coup d'etat, because he was in the country when it happened and he was one of the observers. Let me show you this clip. We'll come back and discuss.
In Guinea-Bissau, what happened in Guinea-Bissau, I wouldn't call it a coup. It was not a coup. For want of better word, I would say maybe it was a ceremonial coup. Because for two things, it is the President Balo, that announced the coup. Before later, a military man came up to address the world that they were in charge of everywhere. Then Mbalo has already announced the coup, which is strange. The political class will want the results of the election to be announced. Nobody should take citizens of a country for a ride. People did not go to work. People wasted their time, queued up, voted, and when they are about to announce the result, then you come as soldiers and you scuttle the results. So the political class will never accept that. First, they must release Fernando Diaz. He has not committed any offense. Second, the results must be announced. Let the world know who won the results.
Yep. That's what Goodluck Jonathan said about the situation in Guinea-Bissau. It is interesting now that we're starting to celebrate those military takeovers, the authentic ones, of course, the ones that are for the people, like Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traore. Now they are changing the game. They are trying to create this. What is it called? He even called it a ceremonial coup that will only show specific that will only pick those that are puppets already. And it's clear as day to see that this has been the plan all along. And now that the new president, the coup leader has appointed himself, right? They are looking into going without sharing the election results. If you remember, the election happened, I believe, in November 23rd of 2025, and it was between Imbalo, I don't want to get his name wrong, Umaro Sisoko Imbalo and Fernando Diaz, and it was between the two. So people went out and voted for who they wanted. So the word on the street is a lot of people voted for Fernando. And once the president realized that he is not going to win this battle, he is not going to be elected fairly. So allegedly, he came up with this coup in order to continue, his control over Guinea-Bissau, and that is the case, fam. Like, even the observants are saying that the people that observed the elections, like Goodluck Jonathan, are calling out this coup, and they're saying this coup doesn't sound like a coup. And yeah, that's what's happening. Fam, if this is live, in case you don't know, we're live streaming. So if you have anything to say, please write it in the comment section and let's have a conversation about it. Another updated story in regards to Guinea-Bissau coup is that the president Imbalo has fled to Congo's Brazzaville. He is no longer in his own country, and the opposition leader Fernando, which is believed to have won this election allegedly, has asked for asylum in Nigeria, and I believe Nigeria either is granting him or have granted him asylum, which is good on Nigeria, because it's very silly, or it doesn't make sense that a coup happens and the military not only arrests or holds the sitting president, but also the opposition in the election. It does not make sense because the opposition leader did not do anything wrong outside of maybe being popular or getting the popular vote in his country. So in the first place, they had no right. They had, okay, they you can't say they have no right when it comes to coup. They do whatever they want to do, but it doesn't make sense that they arrested even the opposition leader. So good on Nigeria for taking him in and accepting him for accepting his asylum, because clearly this man didn't do anything, and that's why I think their true colors. That's how people were able to see it, especially people from Guinea-Bissau. And that is what was happening when the coup first happened. Africans all over the world, when it was shared on social media, were celebrating it and saying, "Yay, another dictator out, another person that will not do what's right by the people. He will no longer be in office." But then the people, the actual people on the ground said, we don't buy it, we don't actually buy it. It's actually, they believe their votes were being stolen, because they didn't vote for the sitting president, and that's what happened. And this honestly, this Western nations are getting smarter and more calculative, because they saw that the people are having enough and they want to use and take this like to their own advantage, to put their own people. Same thing we were talking about yesterday. Yes, yesterday is when we talked about the Gabon coup. And even that, they're saying that, okay, I know we have to say allegedly, but we watched together the leaked video of the president of Gabon talking about how he talked to Emmanuel Macron, and the Bongos won't be arrested and this is a family thing. So yeah, they're getting more cunning by the day. Okay, let me read the comments here. The marathon continues, said, "Hi, it is not clear what the coup is going to end, especially we all know it's not real. So the current president thinks he can just come back." Well, no, you see, I don't know about coming back, I'm not sure, but mostly what they do or what they've done before is that they handpick who they want to be in that position. They don't necessarily have to be in the position, as long as there's an agreement behind the scenes. Like, for example, in this case, let's say Imbalo and the coup leader will sit down and say, okay, so now that I haven't won the election, I can't be in office, but you can be in office and we still can get our way. Like, I can run things and you can also have power, obviously, if he makes himself president. So even though they're not there directly, like, let's say this family, even with Ali Bongos yesterday, I think you were here, right, the marathon. Even if, let's say, Ali Bongo is not going to be in that position, he's going to have his own person in that position, a family friend, a family, like someone that will do the exact same thing that they're being told by, let's say, France. Yesterday it was clear that Macron was in some way, he might not have been directly involved, because we don't know, we don't want to say anything since now Macron wants to sue everyone. um, but his name was mentioned, that the president was having a conversation, the new president was having a conversation with Macron, when it comes to the family that was overthrown, the Bongos, right? The previous president. So that tells you he knows, he's up to date more than anybody, and he is in conversation with the leader of that country. So yes, the person might not be back, in that way, but he is still in control or in charge behind the scenes. And let's not also forget, it's not just about power. They like power because of the money that it gives them, the access that it gives them. So if the president was looting and stealing, and he has acres and acres of land and lots of investments in that country, when this new person comes, if there's an agreement, he won't touch him. He won't take anything from him because there's an agreement and that's his guy. So even when the new person goes out to steal and take stuff, nothing will happen to him when the next person comes, if it is a coup or what is it called, like a transition that was discussed. It's almost like a succession. You know how some people during the monarchs, they groom their children. It's like a succession, like it continues. Even though it's a different person, it's the same narrative, it's the same agenda, it's the same people that they serve. Yeah, so those are the things they are looking out for when they do it this way. And as I said, Goodluck Jonathan said it the best: a ceremonial coup. Like coup, actual coup d'etats, when they happen, it's like the military saying, okay, this president or this prime minister is not really doing its job right. This government is failing us. So we're going to take over. And mostly it's supposed to be a transitional thing, a transitional military takeover. And then once they sort out things, once they fix things, they should have ideally an election. And then the people get to vote for who they want. Right? But if it is a coup that is concocted behind the scenes and made up between the person that is leaving and the new person that's coming, what purpose is it serving? The only people it's serving is those people, the people behind that, the invisible hand that we always talk about, right? It could be any colonial power, previous colonial power, or nations that are trying to keep that country enslaved in a new form. They are the ones that benefit, because now still, even if there's a change of name, change of person, there's no value, there's nothing new that's going to come about after this coup. For example, we always give this as an example because he's doing a great job with Captain Ibrahim Traore. Even though he came into a power through a coup, he's actually doing stuff. Now the issue with fake coups or these coups is that it's not really serving the people. It's not gonna serve the people, because the whole agenda behind it is to serve those that were already in power, right? So yeah, that is what's happening currently. And as someone else I remember said, not all coups are made the same. Or they said it in a joking way, but it does make sense. And at the end of the day, and I always say this because I don't want people to think coups are like so. It's not the ideal. It really is not. And the people of, especially now, Guinea-Bissau, they went out to vote. Like, there was an actual election. There was a candidate they were willing to vote for, and they wanted that person to be the next president. But it was hijacked. That was hijacked because the election results were not even communicated with the people. So they don't even know who won. So yeah, that's pretty sad. I'm seeing a lot of new people joining. In case you missed it, I just want to show you one last time, a video clip that we just showed of ex-Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan talking about the Guinea-Bissau coup. Watch. I don't think it's playing. Am I wrong? Yeah, it's not playing.
What happened in Guinea-Bissau, I wouldn't call it a coup. It was not a coup. For want of better word, I would say maybe it was a ceremonial coup. Because for two things, it is the President Balo, that announced the coup. Before later, a military man came up to address the world that they were in charge of everywhere. Then Mbalo has already announced the coup, which is strange. The political class will want the results of the election to be announced. Nobody should take citizens of a country for a ride. People did not go to work. People wasted their times, queued up, voted, and when they are about to announce the result, then you come as soldiers and you scuttle the results. So the political class will never accept that. First, they must release uh, Fernando Diaz. He has not committed any offense. Second, the results must be announced. Let the world know who won the results.
Yes, that is what he said. And he pointed out a really great point, as I said earlier. Um, since when is since when does a leader that has been detained or imprisoned come out to say, and I quote, this is his direct quote, okay? Quote, this is Umaro Sisoko Imbalo. I have been deposed. And guess, and it gets better. Guess where he said this or to who? He said it to a French media outlet. He's the one that broke the news. Like usually, when a coup happens, it's the military that comes, takes over the station, or especially the national TV station. They sit down and they tell you this person is no longer in power because we have taken over and he's been detained. But this time around, no, no, no. It's the overthrown president that gave interview to a French media outlet, and he claimed that he has been detained. But as I said, the developing story is that the military has released both the president and the opposition leader that were arrested. The president has fled to Congo's Brazzaville, and the opposition has sought asylum in Nigeria. So yeah, that's pretty much the update, fam. If you have anything to say to add to the story, please let me know. What are your thoughts on the coup d'etat, especially now the coup d'etats in Africa being used by certain nations that we know of, or behind it, using their puppets to put another puppet so that the people will believe that there's a revolution and there's something new happening, you know? So yeah, that's the new update, but it's good. I know some people will come here and say Africa is not going to change because the people are doing this, people are selling out, but we're also seeing change coming through, and other good news coming out of other countries. So I wouldn't say I don't like that negative energy or negative mentality. I do get why people get to that point because they're so tired of hearing this and that and all this horrific stories coming out. But we should also, not forget there's a lot of good stuff happening, a lot of good stories of African nations standing up against the West, saying no to nonsense, to the point where even when they're cutting off aid and telling them that they're not going to give them loans, saying no way, you are not going to do this. Like, I'm not, if you remember just a few years back when US threatens to makes any kind of threats about cutting ties or cutting aid or cutting an African country, especially those that are involved in the AGOA and the trade agreement, countries will bow down, will be like, okay, 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 don't do that. Like, I am here, I'm going to make sure that I do what you tell me. But in recent years, how many stories have we reported on, like Ethiopia, when Ethiopia was kicked out of AGOA? When they first threatened, Ethiopia said, it is what it is, do what you want, do the worst. Same thing with Uganda, same thing with South Africa. So we're standing up, we're pushing back. Of course, not everyone and not every country, because don't forget, a lot of these countries that are bowing down are in their pockets. Like, the leaders that they have appointed are running those countries, or the leaders that are considered as allies. Like, when you look at these coups, when they happen, the way the Western world reacts to it will tell you what you need to know about the coup. Is it legitimate? Is it accurate? Are they happy with it? If you find out that they're not happy with that coup d'etat, that that leadership or that military takeover might have been the best thing that could happen for that country. And that's what we've been seeing over and over and over again. Senegal could be the example, right? when the what's his name, I forgot, the previous leader, when he was pushed pushed aside, they were angry, like they were saying like, let me see as we're talking, I don't want to mm, yeah, Senegal former president. Oh yeah, it came to me actually before the Google even came. Macky Sall, you remember? Yeah, he's here. Macky Sall. So you remember how Macky Sall was harassing and arresting during election time the opposition? I believe Osman Sonko, and the youth loved Osman Sonko. I believe when I remember when Macky Sall arrested him, and he used to arrest him like just the way Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni would arrest Bobby Wine. It's like every other day, like especially if an election is coming closer to time, you better believe either Bobby Wine's house is going to be ransacked, or like his office, or something is going to happen, or he's going to get arrested, he's going to be beaten. Something is going to happen to that young man. Same thing with Macky Sall, but the difference was the people of Senegal went out to the streets to protest when Osman Sonko was in prison. And I think Osman Sonko did something very smart. He when he was in prison, and he was obviously not going to be qualified to run the election, he chose someone from his party, Faye, the young man that he went viral when he became the president. People were more so fascinated with his marriage because he had two wives. So I believe it's legal in Senegal. So he put Faye in the running, and guess what? The people knew Osman wanted and respected and supported Faye, so they went and voted for him. And guess what? They won. And now, when Macky Sall was no longer a president, they were not happy. The Western world was not happy because they saw him as an ally, right? And they didn't see this young man as someone that they can control, so they didn't want it. So, long story short, Osman Sonko was released from prison. Now he is the prime minister of Senegal, while Faye is the president. I don't know how true and accurate it is, but they're saying that they are not in good terms. But I've also heard people from Senegal saying, "Do not believe what people are saying." They're still happy with their duo, the duo that they voted for. So yeah, that stuff like that is usual and it happens. So well, no comments coming through. Interesting. I hope you can hear me and see me though, because I'm here blabbering. Okay, we can also add one more person to this list, Niger's ex-president, because that was also a good story when it happened. Because the people they were not happy. Wait. I'm trying to find. Yes, Mohammed Bazoum. Here he is. When Mohammed Bazoum was overthrown, who remembers how angry? Oh my goodness. Reporting that week was such an interesting thing because you'll hear the French president saying something, you'll hear US saying something, you'll hear the UK, like everyone was angry that Mohamed Bazoum was overthrown because he was such a good ally, and they hated the new coup leaders. They were getting sanctioned left and right. Niger, if you remember, they were kicked out of ECOWAS. Oh, hi, BB. I'm here just listening. Oh, good, good. Because I thought I was just talking to myself for a second there. Yeah, so they were not really happy, and it was so clear as day. They were threatening Niger. They were making statements and saying that if you don't release Mohamed Bazoum, there's a lot, like we can make you pay this way, that way. Niger stayed firm, and that's how we knew that this coup was not planned by Western powers. And that's what I meant by you can tell a little, or like there's telltale signs of who exactly is behind it, and what do they gain from that happening. And that's that. William, hi William, welcome to the live stream. We are talking about coup d'etats and how nowadays Western powers are also using it to get their own people there. Well, they've always used it, but in recent years there was it was being used, like, let's say, for its intended purpose, like not to remove one puppet and put another puppet, but to remove a puppet, a dictator, and put in place someone that actually cares about their country and is patriotic, and is not about stealing and looting from their own people, right? So, yep, those are some of the examples that we've talked about today. Um, Hi, Renz, greetings to you as well. Yeah. So, fam, that is what we have for today. Let me know what your thoughts are before we end the stream. If you have anything to add, would love to hear your thoughts. If not, I'll see you tomorrow. A lot of people ask me, hi, Robert. A lot of people ask, even yesterday, someone was asking, like, is this live actually? And yeah, like, we're doing live streams nowadays, in case you are not aware. We also have pre recorded videos. When you come to the Diaspora News channel, you'll find them. Hi, Susan. You'll find them. But also, we go live and we do these live streams to connect, to have conversations, to um, communicate, basically. So, yes, we are doing live streams. Well, thank you guys for coming through. Oh, thank you, Renz. Renz said, excellent broadcasts. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And one of the reasons why I'm liking this live streams is when something happens, we can immediately talk about them instead of waiting for the next thing. So it's a great opportunity to broadcast when something happens immediately. And yeah, that's why I'm liking this. And also it helps you connect with one another, like everyone in the community. BB says, I'm glad you're doing live streams. A lot of us from the US are here in Tanzania. Oh, by the way, how is it going in Tanzania, especially with everything that has gone on after the election? Yeah, it's not, it's the government is just not being, not doing the right thing, honestly. And I don't know how that will reflect in the diaspora community and those that are coming, let's say from the US. Yeah, BB said not good. Yeah, I figured. And one of my friends and colleagues got arrested in Tanzania over this same thing, but all he did was talk about how Tanzania deserves better. And he was not inciting violence. He was not doing anything bad. He was not, you know, basically doing anything, but he is being charged for treason. And he's been arrested. And his name is Mika Chavala. I don't know, maybe you know him. He has a organization called Swahili Nation. And it's extremely disheartening to see this, and you can clearly see that people only want what's best for their country, and now the government wants to shut them down and silence them. And it's not a good look, because Tanzania is, for the most part, a peaceful country, loving people, especially during Magufuli, if you remember. So now, after Magufuli passes, to for them to have another president, Samia Suluhu, and people were celebrating her because she's the first woman president in Tanzania and so on and so forth. But then she has an election, people want to vote, and she arrests the opposition leaders. And then the people that protested, she not only arrests, but charged for treason. Not a good look. Not a good look. BB said, yeah, they accused him of treason. Yes, then you know who I'm talking about. It's disheartening. Like, it's not right. It really is not right. They should be freed. All those that were arrested for speaking out, speaking up, talking about how, you know, how they care about their country and they want the best for their country, they don't deserve it. Like, they don't. The peaceful people. Why are we harassing peaceful people? And now also the government is claiming that these protesters were paid to burn the country and they're not authentic protesters. Yeah, right. Tell yourself that. But keep safe, BB, and all of you that are in Tanzania. Be safe, keep safe. And those that are not in Tanzania, please speak up, especially for those that are arrested for no reason and are being charged, those young women and men. Please, let's be a voice for those that are currently in jail. Anyways, fam, thank you for coming through. Hi, I'm in ministry. Thank you for coming through. Thank you for watching this live stream. I'll see you tomorrow, the same time. Stay blessed. Bye.